In this video, I'm going to help to identify the emotional wounds that can keep you from finding true freedom in your life. Hey, I'm Dr. B, and I'm here to help you fully enjoy life and experience the freedom that God desires for you and those around you. Now, many times I teach by way of illustration or stories. So let me ask, have you ever gotten hurt or cut and needed stitches? Well, I have. You see, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I'm the oldest of 4 children, all J's, Jeff, me, Jim, John, and my sister Julie. And we were all raised on a farm, and us boys would do dangerous things. I built a motocross track, a half-mile track with 4-foot jumps on it, and we started racing motorcycles. Then we got into dune buggies. Then we got into 3-wheelers racing on that track. And one day, I was an adult, I was racing my brother John on the 3-wheelers. Now, I was used to racing motorcycles, and the 3-wheeler is much different. In fact, it's the old Honda 250Rs, which are now banned. But I was going down a hill at a fast speed and started to flip sideways. And on a motorcycle, you put your foot down and steady the bike. Well, that's what I did on the 3-wheeler. And when I did, the back tire ran over my foot and drove the foot peg through my lower leg. Well, I ended up in the emergency room, and due to my open wound, I had to be sewn up. And the nurses actually knew us by first names because all 3 of us were in the ER several times. And one nurse even said, "One of these days, they're going to bring one of you in dead." And that's what happened a few months after my accident. My brother John was racing his 3-wheeler, hit a tree, and it killed him at the age of 24. Well, that slowed down my adrenaline need for quite a while. But now I have a scar on my leg from the 3-wheeler accident I had many years ago. So here's my point. Our scars have stories attached to them, don't they? When I had my 3-wheeler accident, I had a wound, and I needed treatment. And that is a physical wound. But here's my question. What about our mental or emotional wounds? You see, our mental and emotional wounds can be just as treacherous as having a foot peg go through your leg. But what's the difference? My leg wound was visible. There was blood, trauma to the skin, tendons, and bone. But the emotional wounds, they're harder to see. Now, let me highlight from a counselor's perspective what scars from emotional strongholds and emotional wounds actually look like. And I'm going to give you a list of what I've seen from counseling people over many years, what can manifest itself in our lives that keep us from finding freedom. And in videos to come, I'm going to give you more detail on some of the most common emotional wounds. But as we go through the list, see if there are some that you yourself are struggling with. And at the end of this video, I'll let you know how to start dealing with them. So here's some of them. The first thing I see as a counselor when people come in for help is anger. We live in an angry world, and it's not a sin to get angry. In fact, the Bible tells us in Ephesians 4:26, "In your anger, do not sin." So it's not a sin to get angry, but what we do with that anger can lead to sin. When we are emotionally wounded, it does manifest itself in anger. And I will have upcoming videos sharing how to deal with our anger. Now, another manifestation I see from soul wounds would be turning into a drama king or queen. Many people simply try to seek attention to deal with their wounds. In fact, all of these that I am sharing with you can happen, some at the same time. When you have a drama king or queen that is angry, wow, you really know it. Then I also see people who just want to escape. They live in like a fantasy world that they think will keep them from pain. You've seen this. They like to disengage from relationships. They will turn to things like pornography, or hours and hours of time on Facebook, or even just watching movies to try not to feel what's going on inside of them. Then we see people that are only focusing on the negative things in their lives. They often think they're seen as losers, and they, in fact, are their worst own critics. Then we see those that come into counseling full of anxiety. And this is one that I deal with the most. I have struggled with anxiety my entire life. I have to give it up to God on a daily basis. Then we also have people who just numb out. This is like a defense mechanism. They want to feel nothing. Then close to that would be those who self-medicate through alcohol or pills. Now, there are some that need medication. I'm not talking about that. I'm referring to people who take things so they do not have to look at the reality of life. Now, we also see people who simply just distrust. They struggle with trusting people, especially if they've been hurt. Here's the problem. To trust, you have to be vulnerable, and that just scares a lot of people. Then we have a group I call the stuffers. They also try to avoid anxiety by refusing to feel, so they stuff them deep inside. I've done this myself for years, but here's the problem. Whatever you stuff raises its ugly head and gets you at some point at the most difficult time of your life. And one of the big ones I see, especially in married couples, they want that person to make them feel complete. In fact, many go from one relationship to another hoping that person will complete them. But here is a truth. People cannot complete you. Only God can. Now, here's one that may seem strange, but there are some who allow wounds to manifest, and they choose to live in misery. I've met some people who seem to be the happiest when they're going through misery. Here's one of the reasons. It's a form of getting attention in the form of sympathy. They like it when people feel sorry for them. Then I think a big one is depression. Depression is another one that happens when we get wounded. For many, depression and anxiety are two chronic manifestations from soul wounds. Now, there are many other ways that people act out when they are emotionally wounded, but these I've mentioned are the main ones that I have seen over the years. Now, in all the time that has passed since we came into this world, a number of things have gone on in our lives. Some have been wonderful, others not so much. We all carry around a bag full of experiences that are inevitably accompanying us. No matter how hard we try to avoid them, we open up our bag like a backpack when we want to remember all the things which have made us happy. Others, in order not to be forgotten. We seem to try to maintain a sort of selective amnesia due to the pain these memories may cause us. Each person's bag has things to be proud of, but also we can carry things which cause us certain sufferings. It's your personal bag or backpack containing everything you've gone through from birth on. Every situation you've experienced in your life forms the person you are today. Now, sometimes these memories will make you feel happy, while other times you may feel terrible. It's in these times in our lives our wounds and hurts are opened. Now, let me illustrate that again. When I was young, my father was not very connected to me. He was distant, I'm sure, because he was wrapped in his own stuff. The more I tried to have a relationship with him, the more he kind of gave me the stiff arm. But I remember one time while I was in college, I had an assignment in Psychology 101 to put together a family tree and talk about certain things that could be passed down in the family, like emotionally or even physically. And I knew nothing about my dad's dad. He died of a heart attack before I was born. So I was home from college, and I went to my dad and I asked him to tell me anything about my granddad, his father, for this psychology assignment. You know what he did? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He stood up and just walked off, not saying a word. And that was basically how my life was growing up. So what happened over time is I developed this contact lens over my heart that says, men will always reject me. So here's what would happen to me. I had very few guy friends growing up. I would approach a guy and say, hey man, and then I'd kind of turn away from him, and immediately I'm thinking, he's gonna think I'm weird. I already perceived rejection even before I approached him. He's like, yeah, what's up? And I would shakily say, oh, I don't know. And many times out of embarrassment, I would just walk away. You see, the more that I perceived what next is rejection, the more it gets in my heart. And pretty soon, I would walk away believing that person has rejected me. It's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy. As a man believes in his heart, so is he. Now, thank God, I denounced that as a core lie, and I began to ask God what he thought of me, and I heard from God that he loved me just the way I was. Now, I want to say something about my dad, because there were so many good times with him also. He loved bluegrass music, so we played music together. I played the banjo, the mandolin, the guitar, upright bass, and that was our connection. But he didn't know how to have a close emotional relationship with me. And I found out why after he died. When he was a child, his father was abusive to him and his family. My dad was never abusive with me or my siblings. I only remember one spanking from my dad growing up, and of course I really needed it. But I'll be honest, both of my biological children have shared with me that they felt I ignored them as they were being raised. And once I really dealt with my wounds and found freedom, I've been able to repair my damaged relationships with my children and feel closer to them now, since my walls are down and I've let them in. Now I want you to imagine a backpack where you carry around your damaged emotions, your core lies, and some will have larger backpacks than others. And here's what can happen over time. That backpack can basically overtake us if we do not deal with these past wounds properly, and I believe scripturally. So my question's this: what's in your backpack? And the bigger question is, how full is your emotional backpack? If you're not sure, I challenge you to pray and ask God to show you. I believe he will. Now, if you haven't yet, I also challenge you to get a journal and begin to write down what you're carrying around. And in coming episodes, coming videos, I will guide you through how to properly face them and deal with them to find your personal freedom. Now, in the next video, I will share with you the 6 most difficult emotional wounds that can wear us down. Thank you so much for watching this video. If it was helpful, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. Also, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you will always know when we post new content. Have a wonderful day as you continue finding freedom in your life.